Hey guys, what is up? TechLock back here again with a concept build video for the new From a Future Past banner. I know it's been a couple days since the banner released and I'm a little bit behind, but that's because I was trying to take care of the weapon refinery builds for the weapon refines for Oscar, Alencia, Kagura, and Saizo, and I think those videos turned out really well, so if you haven't checked them out, go check those out. But yeah. Now it's time to do the From a Future Past banner. So first we're going to start out with Yarny, who I think is the best unit by far and away on this banner. And I'm going to give a little clap to IS here, because they basically got him right. They basically got his kit right out of the bag. Bunny Fang, effective against cavalry, conditional special spiral built in, great unit, or great weapon here. Gale Force, Yarny himself with his offensive bulk with high speed and decent attack is a great user of Gale Force. Attack speed solo really plays off his strengths. He comes with Escape Route, which I guess is okay. That's the one skill that is really up for debate on what you want to use. Then Odd Speed Wave 3, giving him an additional +6 speed on odd turns. Then I gave him Brazen Attack Defense, hopefully to synergize with his weapon being under that 75% threshold for Bunny Fang and 80% threshold for Brazen Attack Defense. And Pass is not a meme, you guys. There's not one end-all be-all build for units in my opinion, but I did this build just because for an AR strategy. And let me explain it to you, and I promise you Pass is not a meme. So typically when you go into AR, the enemy team 90% of the time will look like this. 1 tank, 2 nukes, 2 dancers, and a lift loss hero. Okay, so why this is so crucial is most tanks that I've come across, again, I could be completely wrong, and that might just be the luck that I've had, most tanks are dragons. Armor dragons, just because they have great mixed bulk. So unfortunately with Yarny's abysmal res stat here, he's not going to be able to take on many armored dragons, so this is why we have Pass. To get through the initial armored dragon, and then we're going to have him take out the nukes. And typically the 2 most common nukes that I see are Ophelia and Micaiah, both blue units, and Micaiah has abysmal speed, so Yarny is definitely doubling Micaiah. And with their kind of glass cannon status and the weapon triangle advantage, or color advantage in this case, not exactly a weapon triangle, but the color advantage, Yarny can certainly take on the most common nukes in AR. So yeah, so again, obviously to make this AR build work, you need the right team. I don't want to go into a whole team build video since it's a very simple team. It would be Yarny plus Mordecai plus Reinhardt plus Naga plus a dancer. And this works a lot better on Astra seasons, trust me. So the reason we would do this is obviously Yarny is great because he's a Cavalier unit, and he has a lot of movement, but Smite from Mordecai gives him the attack defense link buff, and it kind of gives him a little bit more room to work with. And so we're going to use Pass to go through whatever tank is set up front, and hopefully be in range and attack whatever nuker the other team has set up. Hopefully this is going to be activated on the first turn, which is why we're going to be using Odd Speed Wave to bump his speed up an extra 6 points, just in case his high speed wasn't crazy enough. There's a good chance that nuker you're going to be attacking is going to have close counter, so he's going to be lowered well within this brazen range. And then you might not be able to use Pass anymore. It's above 25%, so you still have a good area of about 50, between 25 and below 75 to have Bunny Fang and Pass active and Brazen Attack Defense Pass active. But that's when you would have any dancer with Wings of Mercy would come in, dance for Yarny, he would go and attack the second nuker, and then at that point be proccing Gale Force and getting out of there. So far we've covered the uses of Mordecai the dancer, and then obviously Naga is just there to give the Divine Fang effect to whatever sweeper unit you're using. I choose Reinhardt just because I haven't built up and I use him a lot. You could use any of the units I have from my units used along Naga concept video, whether it's Brave Celica, Brave Veronica, any unit that has a Brave weapon. So give them that Divine Fang buff, have them go out and take out the tank with the Offensive Against Dragon power up, hopefully being able to sweep them within those first 2 shots. And from there, it's just kind of going to be a cakewalk since you've taken out the offensive threats to your team. So again, this is a good AR build for Yarny in my opinion. Alright, now moving on to Brady or Brady. I never really played Awakening, so I don't know the correct pronunciation of his name. I've heard it both ways. And unfortunately, he didn't come out with a great kit. He didn't have a press staff, didn't have a great healing skill. And I mean, he did have a synergistic special with attack res push, being able to heal himself when he healed others and hopefully gain that one the one hit point of damage you take when attack res push activates. But we're gonna go a different way with this. His stats overall are just a little bit better than Lucius. He has 4 more HP, 1 more attack, 3 more speed, quite a bit more defense, and then 7 less res. Actually, I think he has 10 more defense. Lucius is really squishy. So why not just take what Lucius is good at and put it on Brady? So we have the Pain Staff with the Razzle Dazzle Refine. And it was interesting to me that they gave him attack res push with a very middling attack stat and not have Wrathful Staff given to him. I think Wrathful Staff, whether you learn it on the staff that you give him or inherit in the B skill, it's critical for him to take full advantage of the attack res push. We're giving him Restore just because of the profound use of Aversias, Sudden Panic, Panic Ploy. We're going to use Restore to help regain our units. Also, chill skills are super prevalent and common now, so this Restore Staff. Restore Staff is probably one of the best staffs in the game to help fix those debuffs on our units. And then obviously we have Renewal here to hopefully counteract attack res push. There's certainly other ways to build a good boy here. Brady, we can use Live to Serve in order to synergize with attack res push, or we can use his original special, and so that in order to free up the Sacred Seal slot. But who knows? Overall, he doesn't have an overwhelmingly good kit. Attack res push is a decent skill if you can synergize it well with a skill that restores HP, and you have a unit that really could use attack and res buffs. But yeah, maybe we'll see him demoted. That would be cool to have the attack res push and infantry rush, just because they're great skills in certain situations, but they're not amazing skills that could be applied to every unit or meta breaking units. So it would be interesting to see if he got demoted. But I'm leaning towards he won't get demoted, but it would be cool seeing as units like Mordecai got demoted, and that puts Link skills in the 4-star pool. And kind of changed that sort of meta, and you know how much I love Link skills. Alright, now we're moving on to KJ. I still refuse to say her name. And this build might look a little familiar. So if you watch my Forgotten Boy Arden videos, this is basically the Lance version of that. So we've given her, well, before I go into this build, I should say, with Barrier Lance, you can certainly build her up to have a pretty decent res stat. And I was playing around with a mixed bulk build before this, instead of going with this build, and with Barrier Lance and some other stuff, I was able to get her to about 47 res and 42 or 43 defense. So she can be a pretty good mixed tank with the skills she comes with and just a minimal investment. But I digress. I thought this was going to be a lot more fun build just because just exactly like in my Forgotten Boy Arden videos. We take Arden, someone who has insanely high defense, and just pound it home until he rarely ever takes damage from a physical attacking unit. Again, we have Vanguard Plus from Thea, refined for defense here, giving him a little bit more defense. Rally attack defense. Again, I would picture her as more of a stopgap. So you're going to find that hole in the map, you're going to put her in the stopgap, and then you're going to have your ranged attackers behind her. So if you don't really care about her attacking, you can have her be rallying up the units behind her to attack the units in front of her. So that's why I gave her a rally skill. Noontime is just a great HP recovery skill, has 2 cooldown, making sure she stays in wary fighter range. Steady Breath is also going to make sure that if someone initiates on her, she's hitting back with Noontime immediately, and also providing her more defense. Wary Fighter, because her speed is abysmal. Even a normal, I gave her minus speed just to accentuate how much defense she can get. But even with normal speed, her speed is pretty abysmal, so Wary Fighter is crucial to keeping her alive. Even Defense Wave, you can take that off of a Silas, which you can get in the 4-star pool. And then Close Defense. Again, majority of ranged units are target resistance, and the majority of physical units and close combat units target physical defense. So again, if we're trying to bulk up the defense as much as possible, Close Defense is definitely the defense skill you want on her Sacred Seal slot. And so with Vanguard, so you obviously have the plus defense refine, bring it up to 44, then Vanguard is plus 7 defense, plus Steady Breath, which is another plus 6, even Defense Wave on even turns, another plus 6, and Close Defense as another plus 6. So that's plus 25 defense during combat, bringing her up to a mighty 69. Nice defense. No, I didn't give this build just because I could get her defense to 69. It's not a sex thing at all. But at 69 defense, nice. Very little physical attacks are going to make a dent on her. Just keep her away from ranged units. And on top of that, put Ward Fighter, put Ward Armor, Fortify Armor, Defense Tactic, even more buffs to get her defense even higher. Use Soul Stagger, use Veronica's Staff, buff her up even more. Use Prayer Wheel with Legendary Azura from Attack Tactic, and then Prayer Wheel to get that plus 6 on defense, giving her defense even higher. I just really saw her normal defense stat and just really ran with it. So she definitely, even though she looks like an astronaut, she makes a great wall. Alright, and now we're going to move on to Na. I know a lot of people love Na. I'm not as invested in her as most people. I just, at least the way I play, I just don't see a use for her. It would be unfortunate because if I did pull her, she'd most likely just be bonus doubler fodder. But apart from that, this is another unit that I'm going to slow clap IS for. Because they just made her great right out of the box. You really don't need to do much to her kit. Oracle's Breath and bonus doubler have an amazing synergy. Whether it's a rally or a hone or any sort of skill that buffs up the physical stats of the unit, making sure that the opponent doesn't counterattack. And then of course those buffs are going to be doubled with this A skill. Fantastic synergy, and obviously with her defense and rest stat and her speed, she's certainly going to be a tank, and there's no better C slot skill than Quick Riposte. No better C slot skill for a tank than Quick Riposte. So with the combination of Oracle's Breath, she's only going to get hit once, hopefully not take too much damage because of because of her decent mixed bulk here, and then quicker pause is going to allow her to counterattack twice, and she has a fairly substantial attack, so most units are going to succumb to attacks. She does have infantry breath, which is a great skill, except for the fact that it's only be able to use on infantry, and it's very situational. So I decided to go ahead and run with the idea of her being a tank. You could run Res Wave here just to make her bulk completely identical, at least on even or odd turns. But considering that you don't have distant counter built into Oracle's Breath, and you're not going to give a bonus doubler for distant counter, you're going to prefer that she takes on close combat. Close combat units, and again, as we mentioned previously, the majority of close combat units are physical attackers, so again, defense wave makes a lot more sense here, and then without saying much, close defense. This makes her a pretty effective tank. And then if you do have something like a Legendary Azura using Prayer Wheel, Attack Tactic and Prayer Wheel with bonus doubler, it's going to make her stats absurd. So Prayer Wheel, Attack Tactic plus Prayer Wheel plus Oracle's Breath plus bonus doubler just synergizes really well, making her a great tank, giving her absurd stats, plus 12 across the board, quick riposte, built-in wary fighter on the Oracle's Breath. Kind of reminds me of Legendary Hector, where he has Vengeful Fighter, but then built-in wary fighter on the on his weapon. So this again, this would be a great tank build for Not. And then finally, we're going to go to Cynthia. And Cynthia, I struggled a lot with her, debating what to do. I ended up kind of going for a build that would make sense for her in a flyer ball, mostly because she has a very good attack and speed stat, and since we did get 3 copies of her, we can easily go in and merge her up +2, and 45 HP, 50 attack, and 39 speed. That's a really good offensive stat line right there. And she's no slouch when it comes to defense and resistance either. She can definitely hold her own. So there's no real reason for us to go ahead and try to bulk up her resistance. We can go ahead and focus on attack and know that she's still gonna fight. She's still gonna survive 1, maybe 2 rounds of combat. So with her attack and speed stats, honestly, I'm gonna go ahead and give her Lofty Blossoms from Tanith, refined for attack. And then double it up with Swift Sparrow, so when she initiates, she's hitting for 58 and 37. If you're +2, actually we'll just go back to 0. So if you have Lofty Blossoms refined for attack with Swift Sparrows, that's basically double Swift Sparrow. She's hitting for 56 and 45, meaning with 45 speed, she's going to double basically everything in the game, 95% of all units. And then 56 attack is definitely nothing to sneeze at. And then if we're going to put her in a flyer ball, she's definitely built to be the offensive unit of the flyer ball. So I mean, basic rule of thumb is that offensive units buff defensive units, and defensive units buff offensive units. So that's why we gave her ward flyers, flyer formation for added mobility around the flyer ball, and then brazen attack res to kind of help out her res stat once she suffers that initial combat and gets damage dealt. But it's definitely going to be it's going to be easy to proc just because of the high threshold on attack res, and she has fairly high HP. So I'm very impressed with her survivability. Again, I know this is definitely a crowd favorite for Awakening players, so I know there's definitely going to be a lot of people looking to build her. And with she has a great stat line in my opinion. There's so many things you can do with her. I ran with the Lofty Blossoms build just because it's a new lance that came out recently, a great lance. And I mean, I know I skipped over this, but Harsh Command Plus, if you're going to inherit Lofty Blossoms Plus, you might as well inherit Harsh Command as well, since we have 4 slots to inherit. But yeah, I ran with this attack one. There's certainly a bunch of stuff using her Fire Sweep lance that she comes with. With given her substantial speed stat, you can definitely give her darting blow and a sacred seal or some sort of speed, or you can even give her life or death. And with fire sweep lance, it's going to be hitting twice without retaliation. You just have to figure out an escape plan for her, because she won't be able to retaliate and she'll be absorbing a lot of hits. So the nice thing about Cynthia is that if you like that character, her stat line is very, very flexible, which made this build really hard to come by, because there's tons of different things I could do with her. I personally like this build just because if you're going to use a flyer, you might as well use it in a flyer ball, and this one definitely takes advantage of her attack and speed stats, and being around other flyers for added mobility and survivability. Alright guys, thank you for watching the video. I really hope you enjoyed the builds that I presented here today, and hopefully they're a little bit useful for you guys. If you have any thoughts or different builds that are working for you, or you think are better, send them to me at TechLockFay on Twitter. You can see my username right there in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. But as always, if you liked the video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. It really helps me out. And have a great rest of your day.